You can wait for another minute. 10:03, we'll start. Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get started when you can give me a go. It's about a minute, I guess.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, I will just talk about what is this today's CME is gonna be a little generic. We have found a way of adapting guidelines as a means of a tool which will let us utilize it in real time. It's a thing we contemplated using it as a collaborative tool between all people involved in any emergency scenario. And we started with the project of updating guidelines. We realize no matter how many revisions we make, how many discussions as to what are the nuances that we have to adapt in guideline scenario, we were really not able to get it across as a standard protocol when it has to be utilized. There are many ups and downs of adapting a common platform. And one of the means that we thought, this is one tool we have adapted. This is not yet an established tool. We will go about how we can use it. The first step is to orient. This has been in use for a while now. Still, it's not adapted as we would intend to. So one of the ways is to get started with the orientation, which will be today. And we will make a small group workshops where we will do some mocks, where some scenarios we'll try to use. And it's the constant feedback which will kind of make it a more stronger tool. And after we establish it in several such mock scenarios, we'll use it in codes. Once we kind of get the hang of it, we'll try to standardize the protocol. This is the plan of action. So I will go about how we started this and what is the status now. And we'll go about using it and see how easy it is for us to use it. Okay, so that's the background of why we started it. So you can see the QR code. If you can scan the QR code and get it live, you can tell me the feedback as to how easy it is for you. Okay, the way it is available for us, all the algorithms have been compiled in a space in the network in the hospital. How you locate it is go to AMH-PNP, shared doctors, go to pediatrics, then you'll get the Excel algorithm folder. The alternative route is go to AMH-PNP. This is accessible for doctors, and we intend to collaborate with nurses also. The nurses access route is AMH-PNP and go to AMH process workflow charts. I've got some screenshots of how that works. When you go to AMH-PNP doctors, go to share doctors, you would see Excel algorithms there. Or if you go to AMH-PNP direct, you go for AMH process workflow charts. That's where you find the library of algorithms. But what we did is a little more easier and more accessible format. That is, make it QR codes. I'll come to it in a while. So what is the essence of it? As I said, it speeds up our critical decision making. Most critical situations, by memory, most of us are mature practitioners. We may have all the guidelines uh, embedded in our head, but at the time of emergencies, we may not have the recall facility with accuracy. So, to streamline that process and to make it error proof is why we devise the system. So, in emergencies, we know time is the essence of it all. Calculators, you just have to uh, plug in some data, either the age or the weight, and you will get most of the necessary parameters. That would be, say, fluid rates, what is intended in shock, what are the equipments used in several emergencies, etc. We made all this available in QR code so that you don't have that extra bit of effort of going to AIM-HPNP, workflow charts, etc. Just scan the QR code, you'll probably get. You don't have to open the details, ChatGPT, Google, get the details of the current guidelines. We will have all of them updated in a format of user decision making.
Dr. Vanita,
So,
sorry, can I just interrupt you? Do you mind showing us the QR code one more time so we can all?
I'll come to it as I proceed.
Okay.
So, what are the plus side of it all? It reduces human errors. So, manual calculations are prone for errors and slips, especially under stress. Built-in formulas with standardized results. This avoids even the decimal point errors, wrong conversions, some protocols converting to our needs, etc. If it's pre-programmed, what we have done is we keep updating it according to, there are multiple revisions that happen in most guidelines. And as we speak, most of the bottom line would remain the same, but lots of revisions keep happening. We will keep updating it. And in one process, we can update and all the guidelines are updated. This way, we'll keep up to date as well as reduce errors. This, again, is our main agenda. Get the guideline adherence. No matter how many revisions, how many guidelines we have proposed, there are people embarking from different zones of practice and the different eras of practice. So there are certain elements which are listed as the key performance indicators of that particular guideline, and that many a times we will see, with reasons or without reasons, that adherence is not ensured. So, and this will ensure easy leeway into getting guideline adherence as well. So it ensures we all apply the current evidence-based protocols. Many bundles have been churned together to be available in this format. And many a times the variations in practices at the nip of the time, we might be doing it for various reasons, that kind of is avoided by this means. Another benefit is it enhances team communications. If all of us have similar access and similar availability of similar data, what I see a doctor is, as a doctor, nurses also will be seeing it. And when other team members are there, it's a core scenario is a multidisciplinary team, and therapists, respiratory therapists, anesthesiologists, all of them would be having access to similar numbers. So many times when we are closing the loop, we probably will have some slip-ups, which can all be avoided when the whole team is seeing the same number. And the biggest advantage is it's portable. It's availability of these codes, and you scan it at any time. It's available for you to use. It can be used in UMVAs, it can be used in Ali, it can be used wherever. If I share it with Beyond American Mission, anybody can use it. It can be used across all devices. It doesn't necessarily, if we embed it in EMR, it might have more advantages. But then as it exists, since the control of updating is with me, I can get the feedback of wherever the updates are happening. I can make updates also, revisions based on the updates also. So it can be used across any systems that we intend to use. Another thing that we happen to benefit from it is digitization. So if we are having reluctance, we always tend to have a manual system, which kind of reassures us in a better way. We want to go back to it and get on with it. But undeniably, digitization is here and it's gonna go leaps and bounds, and we have to get adapted to it. And as things proceed in this direction, it's good to adapt it. One of the ways we can is by this system. So most of us in many scenarios have our adaptation already to do certain decision making. Probably not in all scenarios. So most scenarios, if we practice using the system, it will enhance the muscle memory approach. We scan, we use it in mock scenarios, we scan, calculate, we act in this steps, we'll be able to get more streamlined into our process of decision making. So in addition to listing these algorithms, these are available in Excel formats. We'll come to it in a bit. I have made QR codes. So these QR codes are more easy to circulate. And whatever I update in the master file can be circulated without revisions in whatever you all download. So this format seemed more user-friendly and more friendly to be used at the real-time scenario. So if you scan this, you will get a field which is the list of all the algorithms. So one such, when you go, all the subsidiaries have made different QR codes. This is the most utilized, most useful if we do not have other keenness to use the other algorithms also. If we scan this, what is done here is in any emergency scenario, you just have to feed the weight and the age. You will get the list of all the medications, emergency medications for different scenarios, plus the use of equipments and their sizes listed in one sheet. So some people are familiar with the system of getting them all in one printout, and whatever need arises, supposing there's a code that is happening, you would want the adenosine. The next minute, you would want the RSI and you want the doses of those medications. All of them are already available in one sheet. This is the emergency equipments and medications. When we scan, this is how the field will look. All the Excel sheets, one code are maintained, the red zone. The red zone is where you enter the data. This is where you enter the weight. If you're parallelly scanning and finding your Excel format, this will be in the Google Sheets Excel format. So you can live understand what I'm doing, and I'll do one live also later. So here, if you enter the weight and the age, you will get almost all the medications. I have only one field preserved in this photograph of interface view. So you will get all the emergency medications listed and a brief note of what it is meant for. And according to this weight and age, all these are calculated. So the whole thing, if you can take a printout and you keep during a code scenario or an emergency scenario, it would be useful if you are familiar with operating in this way. So the if you take the print, as I said, it will be of use for you. And whichever, so if there is a convulsion, these are the anticonvulsants, and these are the dose. If there is any raised ICT and you want to intervene, this would be the dose according to what scenario you might encounter. But all medications customized for the weight you will get in one printed zone. So more useful would be to get information as regards any scenario that you might encounter. Say, for example, status epilepticus. After I conclude the presentation, I'll go live along with you to handle this. So if you scan this, this was the view you would get. Again, there'll be a zone where you would enter the weight, and it will guide you into what would be your first line choice, next line choice, and as you go on to refractory state, how would you proceed? So whilst I do that, I will walk with you with the algorithm. So this is a magnified view of how you would get. So all you need to do is order for this. I've calculated the ml as well as the ng. When you announce it, the nurse also can see the same view. She can close the loop by announcing the same and administering the same. So across the board, the communication, there will not be any lapse, and you will not waste any time calculating at the end of each revisions of further medications that you would be doing. So all you need to do is enter the weight at one go, and sequentially it will assist you to navigate the next steps and the next steps. So other algorithms that we have, and the QR codes are for the shock, for the pulse, each algorithm, that's for the BLS, for tachycardia, for bradycardia, for arrest, each one's made in different sheets in the same. And for DKA, for potassium hypokalemia, the antibiotic guide. This might be useful for you when you're making decisions, not just in emergencies, like how would you make a choice? Do any of your medications require level testing? Is there a way of de-escalating? What would be your choice? And many such informations which are necessary in your antibiotic decision making are bundled together in this algorithm. And again, the dyselectrolytemias, sodium continued, and these are the simplest of the codes. This we are familiar in our general decision making, but again, you can navigate the steps, and as things get severe and you haven't, this is spilling over to uncommon, unfamiliar scenarios of refractory asthma or refractory anaphylaxis, the guidance of how we would go about is captured in an easy format. Again, as I said, these are the other scenarios for which we have made algorithms. Let us walk through a mock case and parallelly start going about it. So if all of you are going about it parallelly, it would be useful, but I will walk through in the presentation itself so we can get a hang of what we will do about it. So let's take a problem of an 8-month-old child whose weight is 7.5 kilos, previously healthy, presents with a day's fever, presents with lethargy, poor feeding, irritability, and drowsy, mottled skin, rapid breathing. So the appearance is lethargic, mottled skin, delayed capillary fill, tachypneic, mild increased work of breathing, subcostal retractions, no grunting, wheezing. Circulation, tachycardic, weak peripheral pulses, cool extremities, hypotensive. The measure is 65 or 40. So when it's hypotensive, it's already a late sign. We are aware of it. So the ABCD goes like this. Patient airways patent, decreased responsiveness, no stridor, no obstruction, tachypneic, mild retractions, no cyanosis, saturation is 92 in room air, There's tachycardia, weak pulses, CRT more than 4 seconds, that's the circulation. There is hypotension, no bleeding, AVPU only to pain response, pupils equal reactive, exposure, febrile and paracetamol given. There's no rash and mottling. So based on our initial assessment and the ABCDE, what we have is a shock. Our actions would mean we will have to go for supplemental oxygen. We may, because there is lethargy, if it worsens, we may have to escalate respiratory support as the GCS worsens, or if there's no response to the supplemental oxygen means that we are trying. We need access of IV. If we fail, go for IO and fluid boluses. Initial bolus, see the response, then another bolus. If it has made a partial response, you continue with the second bolus as the guidelines recommend. If there is persistent shock, we need to go to vasoactive medication, epinephrine or norepinephrine, either peripheral line or central line. So we go to the shock algorithm. We will get, so the interventions that we need to do some calculations. Fluids, of course, we might manage to calculate. We need to do an antibiotic administration within 1 hour. What antibiotics? What are the doses? We will get it in the antibiotic guide. What is the vasoactive drip we want to prepare? It takes an effort to calculate. So that also we would need assistance. So we scan, we calculate these things, we act. Both the apps will guide us towards this. I will go about doing that. I'll summarize. So you might require a few minutes to get the correct numbers and calculate the same things that we talked about. There is a chance for miscalculation. But overlaid with this QR scan, we may get it within seconds, the results. And when we scan, calculate, act, we get instant accurate process. There is consistency with guideline. We keep feeding modifications of the guidelines into the app. And there is a master file. We can keep updating it. It works on any device, anywhere, as we mentioned. So that's the thing I wanted to update you about. And this is a QR code page. You scan this, you'll get all the QR codes. Individual QR codes, if you scan, you will get individual algorithm. Thank you. What I'll do is I will walk you through one of the live Excel when you scan it. And these, anyway, I can share this presentation also, so you'll get the QR codes, and I'll share the QR codes themselves also. So I'll stop this and I'll go to the live sharing. So when you go to okay, yeah, I think you're seeing when you scan the Excel algorithms QR code, this is what you will see. So this lists all the algorithms, and you can go to any of it and use it right away. This is one way of starting it. So this is the cumulative Excel algorithm. So I just wanted to give you the view of how it would appear when you see this. Then I will go to one such view so that you understand. So I will go, recently we had a status epilepticus. I will use it live with you so that you kind of get the familiarity of. So I showed you how it appears when you open the Excel algorithm. You can choose one or scan directly the status epilepticus QR code. this is what you would see. You can see this is a spot where you have to enter the weight. When you enter the weight here, supposing I enter 12, there are list of steps how you go about it. We know for 5 minutes we probably don't have to do anything, but most situations we encounter them coming from home with the onset of the convulsions already, and it probably has elapsed the time span much longer than this. So when they appear to you, there is the guideline suggests using lorazepam, which is not available with us. So the alternative which we have evaluated, uh, the midazolam as the first choice. These are the references. And the best choice if we haven't accessed IV yet, and most often than not, that's the scenario, and the doses are already calculated. But if IV is already there and a rescue medication you want to give, the option of IV diazepam is also there, or IV midazolam also is there. So if you, whichever choice you make, there is guidance for all. The first line, there'll be 2 repeated benzodiazepines, which can be given as the convulsions challengers. So for the first 5 minutes, nothing needs to be done. Stabilize other things, find ABC and oxygen glucose status, evaluate that. And once you get an access or the convulsion spills over beyond 5 minutes, one of the medication you will have to choose. If it passes beyond that, you will have to give the second, the dose is calculated. The second line medication, amongst the guidelines, we have made a choice, and that would be Keppra, levetiracetam, and the dose is already calculated. How much to dilute, how long to give. Everything is guided. If you happen to be challenged with further convulsions and you have to go to the third line, again, the medication, the dose, everything is pre-calculated, and for how long you need to give. What monitoring you have to do is parallelly listed in the initial instructions. And despite this, you challenge with a refractory IC, you make a choice of one of the two. Choose midazolam if the BP is not so fine and there is recovering hemodynamics, or if BP is good enough, you can go for propofol. So anyone with the anesthesia and how you prepare, how the dose is most of the usefulness would come when you're preparing the infusions. How you prepare the infusion, how much you start with 1 microgram. All the red box are for your input. So if you start with 1 microgram per kg per minute, this would be the rate you will set it at. If you want to increase the infusion, so you put it into 2, then you will know how to alter the rate, how to titrate. Everything is pre-fed and minimizes any room for error here. And during emergencies, what would be your next step? What would be your next step? You probably will not be having the presence of mind. If you have something guiding you into your next step decision making, into your preparedness for additional interventions, this would be of a welcome utility. The next page, if you go to all the real protocols, this is one of the Trek vetted the protocol to guide you to walk through it. Parallelly, whilst you're doing and you want reassurance of what's going on, you can leaf through the available guidelines. This is because midazolam as the first line may not be available in many of the guidelines because the first line is lorazepam. So some of the guidelines which have made adapted based on the available evidence, they are available So they have been listed because we had to adapt it due to absent fluorescence in our presence. And when you are going, most of the guidelines do not go for the refractory SE in their detailing. So I have this is cumulative for both adult and pediatric refractory SE. So this captures the essence of emergency way of handling things. This is one such uh, guideline which guides you into refractory SE. So just to walk the various steps, imagining ourselves the needs of emergencies, many things have been captured in the formulation of these guidelines. Let me list the okay, if you want, I'll just walk through. Now, the recent encounter of hypernatremia. There will be only one or two facts that you may have to input: weight, the level of sodium, percentage of dehydration in your estimation. Here, the accuracy needs little streamlining. Always, most of the dyselectrolytemias would require you to calculate the per kg, ml per kg of maintenance fluid. So you just write these input. Most of all other calculations will come to you. So what is the fluid that you have to prepare for how long? And the complete guidance and the calculations also are all listed here. So this scenario can be handled by preparing a solution of this order and has to be run over this duration. Many people are not familiar with reconstituting the fluids while handling scenarios like this. So we did encounter that. In such a case, go for the our fluid was kind of hypotonic for all the available fluids. There is a list of fluids and their tonicity. Go for the nearest tonicity and go with the same rate. The key here is reassess. When you reassess, what do you do? So this is the way of choosing premix. This is the way of choosing reconstitution. So what do you do if you're either fast correction is going on, or you may have to give desmopressin to discover it is DI by this? What you need to do is, the guidance is there for that also. That is, you either go for a fluid which is 1 above and go for a rate which is 20% lower than what you were administering. That rate also is calculated. So what's your target? Reach 150. What's your guideline? Do not go lesser than 0.3 per hour. Do not go more than 0.6 per hour. So all the guide rails and targets are mentioned at appropriate places. So you may have to take a minute to go through it. You may have to be familiar with what you're trying to achieve, and then you can use it more flair. So most red boxes are for your data entry. Most green boxes are for the output, and most yellow boxes are instructions, why and what is being done. And if you need any additional information, it will be there either in the next sheet or in boxes like this. So I just showed you two of them. So if you walk through most of them, you will kind of get the familiarity. So if you go to antibiotics, how to plan, what are the doses, a list, but I will use a calculator. But here you can do the doses, and do they require any require any levels? What are the various ones you would choose? The rough guideline. Then each one, if you enter a weight, you will get the appropriate doses in different conditions, what you can use, what are the choices. If there is allergy, what's the choice? If there is resistance, what's the choice? Everything is listed. This is to make a choice. Each organism, what is a susceptibility to which antibiotic? And what this is the aware list, what the list which you can freely use, one which are prone for resistance, you'll have to be little reserved in your use, and the total reserve category which the antibiotic committee doesn't let you use without their permission. So the rationale behind it and the guideline, everything is listed. So basically, to make a choice based on your need and what is the dose, you can utilize it by just entering the weight. This is the antibiotic. So that's it. So as I said, it might not appear very appealing at the first go. When we start using it, we probably will get the hang of it, and you can start giving me the feedback as to where you would want certain modifications. When we gotten started, like say Dr. Farah had made some guidelines and she ran through some of them and then found some places where some calculations had to be modified. Like that, we back and forth toggled and streamlined certain calculations. Like that, we have modified and brought into the current state of what we are seeing. In the similar way, the couple of problems that we might encounter, if I wanted to lock all the formulas so that when you're accessing, you accidentally make some changes, will be reflected across the utility, and you may not be aware of the errors that were accidentally introduced into the calculations. But if I lock, I cannot share it with you all. So what I did to go about it is I made a master copy and I'll get a notification if there is any accidental altering of any of these, and I will revise it. So I have put in this check. Then the other possibility is in the data entry, if you made some error in entering the data for, say, 40.1, you have written the decimal in a wrong place, the errors are possible. So double check your entry, double check with manual recalculation when you've gotten started with the utility of the algorithm, that you can set right at the right time. So most times the errors that are possible is one where accidentally you will alter the formulas, which I have tried to fix in my own way. These can be more formally fixed in ways where sharing can also be done, which as we standardize the protocols, I will introduce that element of protection and password protection into the system. So for now, it's freely available for everybody to use and everybody to uh, mull over it and give me feedback. And as of now, it is in the acceptance and utility stage. And as things go, it will become standardized. And I foresee that happening because many situations you may not encounter in your common practice. But if you go through it up and down, you will familiarize yourself with the key steps of handling these situations, even though you don't encounter. So it helps you to wield this memory muscle power. So you can use it for that purpose also. So that's about what I wanted you to give a generic orientation. Stepwise using of each in small groups, we can discuss. We do it with whoever is so far try to use the algorithms like that. You can make your own groups and use them and try to get the hang of utilizing it in scenarios encountered. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vanita, for that, the immense efforts you put in to bring them up and make a master copy and make them user friendly. A few other things that we've noted was from the shared folders. Of course, now that you have the QR code, but if we can have the
So
QR
use
code on
this
our
route.
desktops, wherever we have in our emergency stations, where you have the QR code saved in the desktop, all you need do is scan them on your phones. But sometimes if you're in the emergency setup, best is for you to use a desktop, because with the laptop, with the mobile, I was just trying to do it as your lecture was going on. With the mobile it becomes a little difficult. The
Yeah.
screen goes up and down, so that can be circumvented by using your desktop. So you can have your the QR
So
code saved on the
yeah, the
desktop.
QR code, you will get a link. You can share that link to the desktop if you're using it live. The use of QR code, the benefit is it gets constantly updated. I have updated 2 or 3 right from the last 6 months, and then I don't have to individually update the network algorithms which are in this is in the sheet form. So I have the freedom to update it. And what I intend to do is, if you're all using the algorithms, I'll make a constant reporting or notifications to you what I'm updating. So you will understand the need of the update and the fact that it has been updated based on some guideline update or user friendliness of the update or such. So as you're using, you will get the familiarity of it. If you are the kind who wants it to the desktop, you can use the route of Office network, as I told you the route. And more useful would be to get the QR code. You will get a link, transfer the link to your desktop and use it during emergency situations. That would also be a good idea. You can use it any which way you're comfortable. The most recommended one is to be just during the need, scan it and act on the data entry and such. It may not be very difficult once you are familiar with the elements of the algorithm. But if you're not familiar, it would be useful to go to the desktop, see through it, read it, and use it the way I'm suggesting. Just scan and use it at the emergency moments.
Yeah, another thing all teams can do is to download them onto the desktop. One is, of course, the QR code. The other is to just download all the algorithms. That is what we've done in KHAMH. At that point, I think the QR codes
That
were
might not get
available.
updating
Yeah.
properly. Like so many
Right.
updates may not be revised in it. But to get the hang of it, you could do that.
Yes.
And most major updates, I will notify you if I'm doing. So you could still do that. Another thing is, if you don't want to accidentally alter, like if you do any alteration, it will be reflected on the master copy also. So if you do not want to be careful, what you can do is download it, scan it. There is a file menu and save. So you have your own copy, save a copy. So you have your own copy, you do all your activities in that copy, it will not affect the master copy. So you could do that also until we find ways of protecting the master copy, which I can do in due course of time after I standardize. So I must get the feedback that it is of utility and you're all using it and it's serving the purpose. Then I will go to that extra length of going about standardizing it for practicality of beyond the organization also. So for
you
the
need to
present
say
moment,
I mean, currently, if for instance I'm using the algorithm of say hyperkalemia,
yes.
So
So what you, if you scan it,
I add the weight of the child.
Yes.
I alter the red boxes basically,
Yes.
and I save it. These will be
You don't
reflected
have
in
to
the
save
master
it.
copy.
When you just enter whatever new need you want, it's serving the purpose. So you don't essentially save anything. it will avoid entry for others. One of the things you can do in the networked way of handling it. I cannot do this instruction to you all. I cannot say you save it, you don't save it. You can go about it. I have ways of handling it if I find any errors that you have introduced. So this is where I have kept my control, but that is not the logically right way. I will find my way out of it, but then you start using it, then I will know what and what not about it.
Yeah. So any other questions anyone has?
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Vanitha. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Go, Dr.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Vanitha, for this effort. I think it is a big work. And just from the medical legal, first of all, you are making and updating the version. So you should mention which version you are using now. And any update, you need to change the version that you are working. So we know that this version is done on this date, and the new updated version is coming on the new date. Second thing is that you are doing you are the creator. You are the creator. So I prefer to have another 2-3 doctors with you to be the validator. So you are the creator, and another is review and validate the data. So because this is in medical legal, if we are putting the weight correctly, and then any mistake is coming in the data, and we, according to this one, we are deliver the medication to the patient, then you say we should not save. But I'm using this one, and I'm according to the information I get, I am managing the patient. So I should save this one as a tool that I'm used to provide the medication and to provide or to make the management. So again, from the medical legal, it should be all the data validated by a team or by a committee, not by one person. And this is to protect you.
Correct. The way we
And
can
also
go about it is at the present moment, it's a tool for,
Yeah,
Yes,
still it
doctor.
is not an friendly use. It's look like so many data, different colors, and I think it's need more work on the friendly use of the algorithm.
Dr. Salman, I can answer that. You see, at the first sight, yes, it looks a little overwhelming, but once you start using it, you'll know it's the red box that you can alter. That is the editable part. The
No,
green
I
is
know
yeah.
what this means, but I mean, and if you are open in mobile, is different than when you open in computer. If it
Yeah,
is
in
your
the
screen
mobile,
is
it
big,
might
then you
seem a
can't.
bit
If your
challenging.
screen is even the size of the screen. Yeah.
Yes, there are a couple of alterations that can be done to make the user interface different, calculation interface different. This is one way of it that requires a little more effort beyond our small group utility. So that is like, it will come, say, like a Google form or any form where you enter the weight. You will not enter it in the calculation sheet. And the sheet will give you all the output. And you will not be able to do any changes in the sheet. You will have a separate form where you will enter the weight here, enter the age here. That's it. You will get the output in a separate sheet. You can print that sheet, but you will not have any freedom to alter in the sheet. So that would be a little more proper way for utilization. I understand what Dr. Mohammed Salman is saying. This, as I said, we kind of had a group which was deliberating on adapting the guidelines. After we did that, we went about a way where we can adapt the guideline into the user format. This is how we have come to it. To make it a standardized protocol for all of you to use, we will need endorsing from the committee in our hospital, that is the guideline committee, or which there is a committee for it. So we will run through it and get such endorsement to make it medico legally viable also. But before we reach, this is in that phase of execution where we'll need to see adaptation. Like, as he said, for him, it's not so user-friendly. So to make it more user-friendly for visibility for all of us, we'll need a little more feedback. According to his feedback, I will make borders on all the outputs. So that might make it a little more user-friendly. And I'll maintain the same formatting across all the algorithms. I can keep working on it. So the user interface part, I can keep working towards it. But the content and the using it in high wire situations, would you count on it, and how familiar are you to do it without it? And introducing this algorithm, has it got when you debrief situations, do you see it as a utility or a hindrance? You will have to go about it by going on some mocks. You will see the need of using it, and it fills the need, then it serves the purpose. If you're artificially introducing a tool which may not serve any need, then it doesn't serve the purpose. So go about situations where you would need it. Go about situations where you probably don't encounter, but you get familiar as to what's the current guideline and how will I use it when I encounter such situation. Such utility you try and give me feedback. I will see how best it can be used in the current situation. For now, we are keeping it within our control, and we will see about standardizing and getting endorsement from institution protocol.
Yeah, Dr. Benita, because I'm going to the meeting. First, thank you so much. The great effort, and it will standardize an evidence-based practice all over AMH, which is a great idea. 2 points. Point one, education about old people. I see only 11 people or 12 people attending this. This should be, we are 30 plus pediatrician. So repeating this lecture and re-educating people about it, so we all use it. Second is, there is any way we can utilize our IT team to put this into the EMR, like in internal medicine, for example. Any patient with diabetes, they have a standardized protocol which runs into that. So with this going into pediatrics, any collaboration with the IT team might help. And thank you so much again. Really, really great effort, and I really appreciate it personally, and I think as a collective group.
Yeah, thank you. That's what, once we kind of get a platform that we are streamlining it into that effect, we will collaborate with EMR introduction, also embedding it into the EMR. But all said and done, it all boils down to when we would use it, do we use it? This, I will get a reporting as to how everybody has tried to use it, notifications I will get. So with that, we'll make that next effort. So I recommend making small groups and the workshop format. We use it, we create a scenario and simulate and use and see how we find the utility of it. And then we will gather the facts from such simulation exercises, what can be done to it, or the base work, groundwork is done, how to supplement it or how to endorse it, we will see in the next steps.
Yeah.
Thank you
That's
all for
that's a great
attending. I
suggestion.
will try to.
With respect to the EMR, I was just thinking aloud. As and when we put up the diagnosis, if that the algorithm shows up along with the diagnosis. I'm not
Yes,
sure how the IT can
see, these are all ways,
IT
like,
related.
the pathways and things like that.
Yeah.
We know we always do not encounter a cut and dry situation. We will, as I said, in my scenario, which I said, you would need an algorithm from antibiotic guide, and you'll need an algorithm from shock. You will have to use calculators. Basically, that's what I have tried to use, not just bland use of calculators, but formatting of the calculators with guidelines like this is the next step, this is the next step, this is what you'll calculate next. And the nurses also are tandem with you. Okay, get ready with this medication. Probably we'll close the loop with the next, as and when we go to the next step. If this happens, we'll do this. If this doesn't happen, we'll do this. These nuances are captured also. So I have translated what was running in my head in my user way, but it may not appeal to all of you. So I want the feedback as to where it doesn't cross that plane so that I can tweak it to others' utility also. So going to embed it in EMR would be the next step or the last step or may not happen also. But we are all navigating the zone of handling emergencies. So how would we make our job easy here and error-proofed and standardized? This is where we stand. So we'll go about this as our first step. And this is one tool which I have tried to, and the pluses and minuses have listed, and we will see how we go from here. So let's see how we use it. My suggestion, make small group workshops, small group simulations. We try to back and forth use and see, note things which are good and bad about it so that we proceed with what next to do.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Vanita. So I think every week we can have one mock code, mock case, and then we'll pick up one algorithm and see how to work around it. I mean, it
We
could
can
be
do
an online workshop
amongst
method where,
ourselves, yeah.
yes, amongst ourselves, everyone is logged in onto the desktop or their mobile. They do it themselves, and then the feedback can be a live feedback can be given. So yeah, I think we'll take it that way. So once every week, once every month, we will have a mock algorithm that we will test out. Yeah. Again,
Yes,
thank you very
that
much.
can also be done.
Right.
And we will talk about making it medical legally proofed. And when we are making it error proof, we will do that also. So thank you all.
Yeah.
Just use it and let me know if this is what would
Yes.
be of use for you.
And this is
we'll
one
see
step
it.
towards standardizing treatment across all the units. Yeah. That'll be it's a small step, but it's a very significant step. Thank you very
Okay,
much,
thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.